What it is, it's the real uncensored Browns fan tuning in. I wanted to do another post, if you will, um, in particular to the list as far as the top wide receivers. Um, Granted, um, I didn't have too much disagreement with the one where I seen where Julio was number one. I definitely believe Julio is number one, but what I definitely don't appreciate or feel like is accurate is that Jarvis is not on that list um, at all. Uh, and I mean, it was brought to me, you know what I'm saying, as far as I would say it was, what was his name? Q Carrier. I can't say his name. I don't know. But I seen just scrolling. I was like, all right, yeah, he's right. Like, why is Jarvis Landry getting snubbed? I didn't know if like I should talk about it, but I was just like, because as far as like receivers in the league, I guess as far as how they evaluating it, like how much double team that they create. All right, well, listen, look at this. Jarvis, no, he's not gonna blow the top off of anybody. He's not gonna have like no burners and no jets. But at the same time, I've seen him get behind safeties before. The one touchdown that Baker threw to him when there was two people like in between that when he caught it. You know what I'm saying? So like he had the times where he can get by you. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be every time, but like who does that? Usually everybody gets a double team help. So like to sit up here and say that you can't be a number one receiver, the only reason why I would see that they say that is because he's not like super huge, but neither is Odell. You know what I'm saying? So like they kind of are one and the same to me. So if you're gonna say like Odell is number four, you know, based off of his talent or the projection, you also got to put in Jarvis as far as what have he done. You know what I mean? The dude basically had about like 100 catches every season. Like when you first got into the league, you gotta respect that at some point. You know what I mean? That's not just like no fluke stuff. That's not somebody just did that by accident. That means that I mean that what is a receiver? A receiver is somebody that catches the ball. Like how can you not accredit him being able to have hands, you know what I'm saying, and not put him in the top 10 receiver and just looking off of what his athleticism is, you know? And I mean, all right, well, they say, oh, well, what's his name? Julio Jones had a lot of drops or something like that. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe they were tough catches. I mean, because he has had some tough catches. He had some catches where they was considered drops where I thought they was catches. So you can't sit up here and say like, oh well, just looking at the numbers he had. I mean, he's gonna get targeted a lot. So of course he's gonna, you know what I mean, have some catches. I mean, you look at how much he get paid for real, for real. So I think people would just be stretching as far as certain things go. You gotta look at the whole game and just look at their impact. As far as Jarvis Landry's impact, Juice Landry's impact, you know, you could say like people definitely have to watch. Coaches will shift the game plan on stopping him. Some he can cause that. You know what I mean? So for you to be like, oh well, he can't even crack the top 10, like that's bogus. I mean, honestly, I think we do have two of the top 10 receivers in the league. You know what I mean? Between Odell and Juice. You feel me? So it's like people to go up here and try to make opinions, and I get that's what it is. It's just like a bunch of opinions on a bunch of guys that just feel some type of way about certain players or whatever like that. Maybe they really are a big fan and they want them on their team, so they like, hey man, I'm the one that voted for you, saying that you're a top one. Like I don't know how you didn't get number one, but I definitely voted for you number one. I mean, maybe it could be a little bit of that like type of politicking in there. Who knows? I'm not in the league, so I'm just speculating. But for real, it's like, how can you not say Jarvis is not in that top 10? And if you be like, oh, well, he got a surgery and we don't know. Well, everybody, y'all basically counting. When does that stop y'all before as far as projections? As far as projections, people over here projecting that Saquon about to be the number one running back based off of projections, off of what like, cause what have he done that Nick Chubb haven't done? Oh well, see Saquon Barkley can pop a 5 yard run and make it go 88 yards. I've seen Nick Chubb do that not once but twice. You know what I'm saying? Like so, what has Nick Chubb not done since that Saquon? So for people to just sit up here and have their own biasness on it, I mean I can be biased. Obviously, you look at the background and stuff like that, but nonetheless, like I give credit where credit is due. You know what I'm saying? Somebody nice is somebody nice. Now would they be like, oh well, what about Odell? Odell, he's, I mean, truthfully, like yeah, he didn't have his best season statistically, but as far as a Browns fan, I mean, it's sad to say it, but I I'm kind of like wanting him to see more because even though it was not his best season, it was still a good enough season. Like he had 1,000 yards, you know what I mean? So like by any stretch, no, it wasn't like a great season, but it wasn't a bad season. So you know, to see what I mean, how I believe that this team is built up, like he's gonna have a better season than last season. He could, both of them could probably have 1,300 yards of receiving, and then they could still have two running backs on the team with 2,000 yards each. You know what I mean? Getting close to it, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, like this team is gonna be very dangerous. You know, and how is it gonna happen? I mean, it's just gonna be a high octane offense. Some games is gonna be blowouts. We just gonna be smoking teams out like every other season. You feel me? So it's just that's just how it's gonna look. And yeah, man. I mean, this team is scary. I mean, I think Baker could put the ball where he need to go. But yeah, man. As far as like that go, if you want to say, oh well, because Juice ain't gonna have the quarterback or whatever like that, and that's another reason why Odell Beckham is number 4, then that's bullshit because then now you over here are just sitting up here and taking like, oh well, we are gonna judge off of the actuality, but not just projection. Like if you're gonna do it, you gotta do everything. You gotta look at it in scope. You gotta look first and foremost. You gotta look at what's been happening, what's reality. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can look at projections and stuff like that, but then at that point you go into like, all right, health right now, which is like the present. How is they healthy right now? And then looking as far as like the future, as far as like well between what type of surgery they had or whatever like that, what type of limitations they gonna have, what does this usually cause compared to um, what they did in the past, and you know what, and then in their position, what does their position require? Obviously, like if it's like an arm, somewhere upper body injury or a lower body injury, obviously because of like what got to cut. Obviously, lower body injuries is always a bigger thing, but where it's kind of like harder to play through. But other than that, you know what I mean. You look at that, like I said, based off of what you know. Like what we know is that Juice catches basically everything. He catches basically everything. The only reason I say basically is I've seen a few drops, but like it's just been, I feel like it's a little timing thing. But for the most part, he catches everything. So for people to be like, oh well, he can't even crack this top 10, man, it's like you just see it. You just see like how people just like certain folks and they just, I'm gonna support them to the end. And it's like, be honest with yourself. A lot of people do not be honest. You know, they just like they people and just try to do their thing, man. And it's okay, I guess. You know what I mean? But that's your opinion. But let's be real sometimes, y'all. Like, let's be real, man. Juice should definitely be cracking that list. But however it's voted against, I don't know what the thing is. I mean, but hey, I'm just a man sitting here posting on the very own famous worldwide YouTube. So yeah, if y'all can't feel that, man, I don't know. Y'all might not be some real football heads, cause he gonna have to let y'all know again this year. Like Juice gonna have a freaking monster year. They both like, I'm gonna call him Kevsky, man. What y'all think about that name, Kevsky? It's like Kevin, Mr. Stefanski. It's not just Kev, it's Kevsky. It's a little urban, a little edgy, but it's still a little bit, you know, I went to an Ivy League school, so I'm one of the guys. So it's like kind of one of those for me, you know, call him Kevsky. It's not really bad. It's not. we'll see how it turn out. How the season turn out, I think it'll have. If he have a good season, it'll have a little more sizzle to it. I mean, I can say it more confidently. But if he's gonna be sorry, it's gonna have another type of meaning ring to it. Like, oh, Kevsky's ass and shit. I don't know. Anyway, man. Hey, and one more thing, y'all, I got it on my mind. Why everybody be bugging about signing? Why don't we sign each other to a franchise tag, and then we try to get him some endorsement deals? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you could get him some endorsement deals where, like, maybe, I mean, shit, Jimmy, you know what I mean? He used to own the Pilot J. He don't own them no more, but maybe you talk to a few guys, get him in a couple commercials. You know what I'm saying? He come out, eating a hot dog, like, yeah, go to the Pilot J and stuff, and they were like, oh, it's Nick Chubb. And then he would, like, smile, and then, like, he, like, give him, like, a gas card or something like that, and then, like, fly away on, like a Pilot J, like a jet or something like that, or maybe a helicopter, and just go, like, whew. But then they got to show the helicopter getting filled up with some gas, and then they go off, like, that'd be sweet. You feel what I'm saying? And it's that he get paid off of that. They be like, oh, man. And they be like, I gotta go to a Pilot J. You know what I'm saying? Because they seen Nick Chubb on that mug. And then boom. You know what I'm saying? The compensation for not getting that real compensation in the NFL. You know what I mean? But that's endorsements, though. That's all we need. That's the reason, and that's all he need. That's the fucking reason why he's still getting snubbed. People snubbing him because ain't nobody want to invest in him. If we invest in him, invest in our own, I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, that's what Art Modell couldn't do. He said he was just a football dude in the football business. Jimmy and D, they got money elsewhere. Give him some little endorsements, man. Give him a little bit of endorsements. Keep him in the family. Is that a conflict of interest? Like, we should be able to do that, right? I mean, why not? I mean, yeah, it'd be like maybe it'd be unprecedented. I don't know. Is it? Who knows? Partnerships everywhere. Get him some partnerships. Get him some endorsements. I mean, he not gonna fuck it up. If you want to get anybody endorsement, he the one to give it to. He don't get in trouble. I think that's a good thing. So hey, but nobody want to listen. Nobody want to listen. All right. The real and sincere Browns fan sign out. Peace.